president, meanwhile, is looking at this $1.3 trillion spending measure, wants to rescind a lot of that spending. Are you okay with it?
Well, he agreed to it. You know, he was involved in the negotiation and signed the bill.
But he warned, I'm never going to do this again.
Yeah, but we had an agreement with the Democrats, and I don't think
so you're surprised by what he said when he came out and criticized?
You can't make an agreement one month and say, okay, we really didn't mean it, and come back the next month and say, oh, we really didn't mean our agreement.
So was his shock legitimate when he claimed that he was stunned by what was in there?
Well, he may have been, but he and his people were involved in the negotiation. They agreed to it, and he signed the bill.
All right, that was when I talked to Mitch McConnell, the Senate leader. Now we're getting word that the president will indeed follow up with $15 billion in rescission spending cuts from that $1.3 trillion package. Of course, Mitch McConnell was not a fan of redoing something with both parties agreed. I want to get the read now from the House Ways and Means Chairman, Texas Congressman Kevin Brady, on all of the above. Sir, very good to have you. What do you think of this? The president wants to pare $15 billion in spending. From that, it's a lot less than the $50-60 billion he was originally, we're told, kicking around. What do you think?
I think it's a good start. Look, I don't care who you are in Washington, you have to agree this budget and spending process is broken, and we can't just keep doing the same thing year in and year out and expect a different result. I think the rescissions, what used to be a normal part of the budget process to always look for savings and efficiencies and dollars that aren't being spent, I think rescissions are a good start. Would I like to have seen him do more? Yes. But let's get the process back in place. And then secondly, I really do think that if the Senate moved to a simple majority for these spending packages, that we could avoid these big omnibus bills that, frankly, no one is happy with.
All right, so you disagree with Mitch McConnell here. I think what he was alluding to, maybe given the fact that they do have that 60-vote thing where they can't separate from it, that, you know, the parties agreed, the parties signed on to that, so should the president.
Well, I will tell you, I think Leader McConnell represents his conference, and I think I'm hopeful they'll have a conversation among Senate Republicans about going to a majority rule, because when they do, they really do amazing things, really appointing good judges, repealing the individual mandate, pro-growth tax reform. When they move to majority vote, they really have produced good things.
Do you worry, though, that if the Democrats were to take over, let's say in the Senate, and they practice that, your hiney would be burnt, right?
Well, I will tell you, I'll take that approach.
Okay.
You know, I think it's important in the majority to actually pursue our agenda, and I think it's a fair trade-off.
All right. Let's step back and look at the tax cut right now. It's very, very clear the revenues coming in. We're just coming off a month of April. Record revenues coming in. The tax cut, a big part of that, just as you said it would be. Yet, still frustration on the part of many of your colleagues who wonder why it isn't the powerful political weapon you thought it would be going into the midterms. It still might be, Congressman, but are you surprised by that?
No, I will tell you, I think it will be, and here's why. Look, we're just in the fourth month of this new tax code, so we're not in the first inning of the ball game. We're in the first batter of the first inning of the ball game, and already the results are so encouraging. I know, Neil, if I'd have told you in December that within this short timetable, wages would be increasing the fastest in 10 years, Main Street optimism and profits would be at the highest of 45 years, and businesses are hiring right and left, you would have thought I was exaggerating. But that's exactly where we're at today, and I still think the best is yet to come, because these businesses are making decisions on where to locate that next new manufacturing plant, that research facility, where to put those patents here in the U.S. And so those are long-term decisions that get better. I think every day gets better in the U.S. because of tax reform.
Chairman, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, powerful liberals like that, call it all crumbs. What do you say?
Yeah, so I think they're being proved wrong every day back home. And I can just tell you that part-time worker at Home Depot, Pat, who came up to me, she's a small business person but works part-time to make ends meet. She's getting $184 more each paycheck. She said, you don't know how much that means to me and my family. So I think they're, at the end of the day, not only are they wrong, but their agenda, which comes down to impeach and leech. You know, they want to impeach the president and leech onto more of what Americans earn. I think that sums their agenda up, and the American people aren't going to go for it.
You know, besides this talk about a phase to the tax cut, I know the effort here is to make the individual cut permanent. It wasn't in the first go-round. You are also trying to reignite the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, which struck me at first blush as a liberal move. And what is Kevin Brady doing here? Explain.
Yeah, now that we have one of the most competitive tax codes on the planet, we need more workers. That's great news. Wages are going up. That's great news. Well, we've got a lot of Americans that are trapped on the sidelines in our cash welfare system. We think they've got great potential. And so what we're doing in the Ways and Means Committee is starting the process to help to move them from the sidelines back into good paying jobs, both because it's good for them and their families to see that parent going to work each day. But frankly, we need them. America needs them back in the workforce. We've got some good, smart ways to do that. You
know, when I heard you were doing this, sir, I was thinking of a criticism that Marco Rubio had of the tax plan, even though he voted for it, that it didn't help individuals out as much as he had hoped. I'm wondering if what you're doing here is a reflection of that.
No, I think Marco Rubio, who's a good friend, had it right just a few weeks ago, speaking in Florida, when he said parents work hard to take care of for their children, and the new Republican tax plan lets them keep more of what they earn. I think he was exactly right, and it's proving out that way as well.
That is a very judicious reply to that question. You avoided a whole nasty little dust-up with you and the senator. It was very, very nicely done.
We do our best to keep focused on our message. But the truth is, boy, look, this is working, and it's only getting better.
Chairman, it all started with you. So thank you very much. Good seeing you again.
Thank you, sir.